It's another excellent night down at Crypto Cove. Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Great. How are
Good, I'm
you?
good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. All right, I'm glad to have you all here tonight, today, whatever time it may be for you. And this call is actually going to be a workshop, just like my last call. We're going to be going over the MyJoy marketplace a bit in depth, as well as something else we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to be creating a listing on the marketplace live during the call. So, that way you have a bit of hands-on training as to how the system works and what you should do in order to create a listing on there. Because quite frankly, I'm getting sick of having top billing on there. There's five parts on the MyJoy marketplace, and three of those are mine. And I just don't like that one bit because that means nothing really gets seen. So we absolutely need more adoption on the marketplace in order to drive us forward. And this is me doing my small part here. But before that, I do have a couple housekeeping points that I do want to go over. The first point is regarding a couple issues that we've had now and again with some members getting into let's just call them scuffles. Now, we as a community are here in support of one another and ultimately in our goal to help all of us ultimately be better. So we definitely can't have infighting or anything of the sort because that's just extremely counterproductive. And doubly so when that's something directed at, for example, the executive team or anyone in any other official place or even me for that matter, because again, that's entirely counterproductive. It's that really doesn't help anything when we're fine with each other or anything of the sort. So yeah, definitely don't do that is what it boils down to. And if you're a co-founder in the private group, we definitely hold you to a higher standard. So, if you get into fights with other people, get into conflicts or anything of the sorts, then that is grounds for you being excommunicated from the private community. So don't do that. All right. So with that, there and a bit of a personal note is the other thing I wanted to go over. There were some folks who were curious about any updates as to my personal situation that I was talking about earlier in Wall of Joy with the water pump that we had blowouts. And there's not really much insofar as updates. We tracked down a new pump. We're going to have to replace the pump, unfortunately. Now the hardware store the pump is at doesn't open until tomorrow, so we're we're definitely going to be grinning and bearing it for quite a bit tonight and the early morning. Thankfully, I did find the bypass valve for the pump system, so we do have water to for washing dishes and anything of the sort, but the water pressure isn't enough for us to be able to run our water filter. So we're essentially using our drinking water stores at this point. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's one of those things that you have to plan for and hope never happens when you live in a rural area like the Highlands of Panama. But yeah. All right, so with those two out of the way, wait, make sure I have this set up here. All right, we'll go ahead and get to it. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. All right, and you all can see my screen, right?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes.
All right,
Yep.
excellent. Alrighty, so I'm not going to go over logging into the marketplace because there are a couple different ways of doing that. My preferred method is just using your wallet connection because I'm a co-owner who's involved in the product community. But of course, as I said, there's other ways of uh, logging into your account or registering an account if you need to do so. So yeah, I'm not going to go over that in particular. We'll just go ahead and assume you're already logged in. And this is the main screen that you see after you log in. This is yep, one of the main pages of the marketplace and your account. And if you're involved in the product community, there's a couple things here that you may definitely want to take note of here. We have your equity share. That's the amount of equity you have in the MyJoy marketplace, as well as the Joy token in general. The amount of Joy that's allocated to you, as its rough USDT value at that moment, as well as the USDT you have in holdings from community sales that have happened so far. You can see we've had one happen so far. If we scroll down, you can see quite a bit of information about allocation, as well as some other information here, like the token contract address for the Joy token, the USDT contract address, and so on. And we also have a couple buttons here that serve as quick links to anything you may want to take a look at regarding the Joy token. We have this button here that opens up the Joy chart on 8space. You can see we're sitting at $116,754 per Joy token. And then we have a button here, swap USDT to Joy. This serves as a quick swap link to open up Pancake Swap with the USDT to Joy's token pair already pre-filled. Not sure what that notice about was about that we just saw. It's probably Pancake Swap trying to err on the side of caution, but you can just ignore that. And then we have the third button down here. That's the token tools button. Now, if you click on this button, it will take you to, where have we seen this before? Yeah, yes, indeed. That this was put as a little bit of an Easter egg by the developer of the MyJoy marketplace. And it's well, he and I are friends, and of course, it's also just an excellent utility for everyone in the community to use. I'm actually quite proud that it's there. I'm quite pleased that I'm technically in something official at this point. Even though all my tooling is unofficial. But anyway, moving on. We're going to move to the navigation bar on the left side. On the first button here is the user dashboard button. We'll go ahead and click that. And that brings us to your user dashboard, which is, yep, it's the same page we were just on because we had just logged in there from before. Transaction history. This goes over all the transactions that involve your wallet address or your allocation here on the marketplace. Purchases, and what this does is it actually logs all the purchases that you've done on the MyJoy marketplace, as well as the ones that you still have open and are pending. for whatever reason. Customer subscriptions. This again serves as a log for you. This will show the logs that you have of recurring access. So, for example, if you purchase a subscription to a service offered by someone else on the marketplace, it'll show up here as a log item. I haven't purchased anything yet, so honestly, there's nothing here in my case. But if you have purchased a subscription yet, then it will show up here. All right, now we go to the vendor side of the equation. So we'll go ahead and click on vendor overview. And if this is your first time visiting the vendor section, you'll see a button here that says become a vendor. All that you need is to just click that button and then bada bing, bada boom, you're a vendor, at least for the time being. And after you've done that, you'll see a couple things change here. The first thing you'll see is a button for create products. We'll come back to that in just a minute. You'll also see a catalog of any of the products or services that you already put on the marketplace. You can see that my catalog size is 3. So I have 3 things on the marketplace so far, 3 listings. And if we scroll down to the quick links section, we can take a look at, again, the quick links we have here. Each of these will take you to another specific section. If we click on the Manage Parts link, it takes us to managing our catalog of listings that we have on the marketplace. We can see here, yep, I have 3 items listed here. And from here, I can edit any one of them, go to them if I want to. And I can also bring them into a draft state if I want to, as well as a couple other options that have just been added. A hidden option, nope, and an archived option. More on that in just a bit. All right, back over to the quick links, and we can also view our vendor orders. And I recognize these 2 were from my testing. I do know there's a couple down here below here, but I'm not going to go over to those out of respect for people's privacy. So yeah, this shows you the orders that have been made for the listings that you have on the marketplace. And it also shows their status. You can see that I have 2 pending orders here because, of course, I never made the actual purchase because ultimately that would just end up sending joy from my wallet to my wallet, which what would that even mean? All right, we'll go ahead and hit the back button. And we can also review the storefront. Yeah, we can see that's live. And there's another section where you can edit the information in here, as well as add your social links. Like, for example, I have links here to my toolbox, my Telegram, and my YouTube channel. And we can also see the products that I have on the marketplace. Alrighty, so that's it for the quick links. We'll go ahead and move on to the next section. Transaction history. We just went through this with the quick links. Quite a few of these essentially serve is, of course, to provide you quick links to any section that you may want to go to, but you also find that some of those options are also going to be available on this left navigation bar. So we'll go down to the vendor subscriptions section. And again, this ultimately serves as a log for you to see who has subscribed to your products, how many subscription orders that you've gotten, etc. We can see that I have one here that's probably from my testing still hit. Oh wait, it shows as active. So yeah, that means that this is someone that has actually paid for the sponsorship. And I do actually know who that is. So recognize. All right, so here's the section that allows you to edit your storefront presentation. You can add a storefront title. I just have my name there. You can have pretty much whatever you'd like. A storefront description. You can choose to either publish the storefront or have it saved as a draft and have it be discoverable in the marketplace or not. Personally, I don't know why you would want to not be discoverable in the marketplace, but you do have that option there. And once you've entered any information that you want to enter in here, you can click on the Save Storefront Settings. All right, payouts. This shows you a log of the payments that you've gotten. You see that I've had one paid order pay out to my wallet so far. And you can also see other information regarding anything that you've gotten from the markets here. Some of this is probably not going to be tied to much of anything for right now because ultimately the marketplace will grow and mature as time goes on. But right now it's absolutely in a, well, we'll call it a version 1.0 state. So yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and move on. See if it lets me scroll down here anymore. All right, vendor settings. And yeah, this allows you to, again, go to your storefronts, your accounts, as well as the wallet tied to your vendor accounts. I won't be going there myself due to operational security reasons, but yeah, everything's right here. Wallet settings, again, I'm not going to go over there right now, at least on video. And we'll go over to account settings. And why did that? Or that's probably because I clicked that other one. All right, and here we have the information that you would typically fill out when you create a new account in the marketplace. You're meant to have your phone number, your country, as well as any other required information here. There's quite a bit that you can and should put in here because one thing that you should also note is there's actually a bot that can notify you whenever someone interacts with one of your carts. It's a Telegram bot that first needs you to verify your Telegram handle first. And after you've done so, you'll then get notifications in Telegram whenever somebody interacts with one of your products, which usually means they've made a purchase. All right, so that was a bit of a brief overview. Are there any questions about that before we move on to the actual creation of the listing?
One little one little question.
Okay.
Um, Nicholas was helping me get in, and I had a temporary password, and it says once you get in, change your password, but I see nothing in there on how to change your password.
Right, so I'm not sure that that's been added as of yet. That may be something that you would have to work with Nicholas with after the call. That,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, a
Okay.
bit behind. That's a bit beyond the scope of this call in particular.
Well, I'm sorry, but I
Anything,
want to come in tomorrow and upload my product, and if I don't have a password, I can't get in. So,
right,
okay.
right.
Okay, no problem.
Alrighty. Anyone else? Any questions, comments, things of that nature? And I did definitely go through it briefly here. That's because the navigation bar probably will be changing over time. But I just wanted to give a bit of a quick overview as to where it stood currently. All right, Paul, you have your hand up.
Yeah. First of all, sorry, apologize for joining the meeting late. I was on another call, but
No
so
problem.
I missed where you might have shown where we can get our affiliate link for legs if it exists at this point in time.
So we're actually not going over legs. I don't have an account in legs myself as of yet.
Okay,
So I can't really show anything regarding that. We're we're focusing on the MyJoy marketplace and pretty much the MyJoy marketplace alone for this call.
sure. And my only other question is, will we have access to a recording, seeing as I missed part of it?
Yeah, this is being recorded.
Awesome, thank you.
Alrighty. And Mr. Gildas, you have your hand up.
Yes, Hunter, can you get me?
Yes.
Yes, thanks for giving me the opportunity. Yes, I just wanted to tell Mr. Paul that it happened that my call today, it was a little bit late, but we happened to go through the Lex registration. So it's a very simple registration. The video, I drop it in the wall of joy. So if he goes through it and if he finds it has any difficulty, he can let me know. So getting up legs is already possible for me because my upline has already given me the code. The code is just there. So it's very simple. He should go through that video. It's going to help him if he has already the means to get registered. Yeah, that is just what I wanted to say.
Th- Thank you for that information. Yes, I just want to say, of course, that technically we shouldn't be able to get access to it until we've registered with somebody's affiliate link. So I don't want to go into it until I get an affiliate link, but I just wondered if someone could show me where the affiliate link is at the appropriate time for me to go in and get it. But I understand that that's not the purpose of this call or capable on this call, but
Yeah,
appreciate what you're
it's
saying. I
not
will go
hidden.
and I'm sorry.
Once you register, it will be on the profile area. It's not hidden. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hunter.
No problem. All right, and are there any other questions, comments, things of that nature?
If I
Alrighty,
could,
go ahead.
well, I just want to mention to Randy that I want to have a conversation with him about the marketplace. So just to let you know, Randy, sorry to use this as a means of communication, but thank you.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, so with that, we'll go ahead and move on. But just before we get on with the actual listing creation, folks, if you haven't dropped your wallet address in the chat yet, please do so now. This is not a paid training. This is not an official call in any way, shape, or form, and paid training is no more anyway. But I am actually going to be having a bit of a giveaway on this call. well, not actually on this call. I'm going to be doing the drawing after the call for security purposes, but it's definitely going to be something a bit special, and you'll understand more about it in just a bit as we get back started. We got a couple folks putting in their wallet addresses now. And yep, this is available for everyone who's on the call right now. It's for yep, live participants only. And I just check and make sure here. Yep. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and make sure I have that up. And I'll go ahead and share my screen again. Alrighty, so we're back over at the user dashboard, and now we're going to go over to the vendor overview section. And then we're going to click on create part. So pretty simple so far, I'd say. But of course, to create a listing on the marketplace, you have to add something that you want to put on the marketplace. Now, this can be just about anything insofar as digital products, services, or anything of the sorts can be that would have at least a business case to it. There have definitely been a couple great examples put forth so far. One of my own ideas being to create a sort of human terrain system to where folks can discuss with natives or locals of a place they're planning on going to either for vacation, moving to altogether, or anything else for that matter. So there's just one example, and of course, there's a lot of people that have developed a lot of different examples of things you could put on the marketplace. I know that there's one person who's considering putting up consulting services for interior design. So that's definitely another viable option if you're good at interior design. And I know that Randy definitely wants to put up a product of his own soon. Definitely. All right, so, but in this case tonight, the offer that I'm going to offer up is actually something that has to do with my toolbox. So we'll go ahead and go to what I actually have planned for that here. And actually, first we'll go ahead and go over to my main toolbox page. And yeah, we can see that everything looks fine here. We're at, this isn't the way. We're at version 2.1.2 of the toolbox. Now, we won't be going into the features here right now. Anything regarding any updates will be in another call because there haven't been any public updates insofar as of yet since the last call we did on the toolbox. But the main thing that I do want to showcase that I will be putting on the marketplace is a sort of pioneer preview version of the toolbox, which will essentially serve as early access to those who are serious about supporting the toolbox. And what this will give you is this will give you number one, access to, well, not number one. The main thing he'll give you is access to updates regarding the toolbox up to a week before they are released publicly. And this will be in the form of a Pioneer preview on a code-gated website on the tooling. And let me just show you what that looks like. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to have on offer for this listing is codes to get into this version of the toolbox. And ultimately, what the updates you receive on this version of the toolbox will consist of is release candidates and late beta versions and builds of toolbox updates. So anyone who decides to purchase the Pioneer Preview access will be among the first to know of what's coming next for the toolbox. And supplies are limited insofar as codes go. This will be a 5-digit code, and I'll have up to 20 codes to send out to people. And that this isn't just something that's just, oh, you could put in anything you want and it'll let you in. Nope, not at all. For example, let me put in all ones and nope, it doesn't let me in here. So, yep, this is code gated here. This does have some access gating logic behind it. So this isn't something that you can just come in and think that you're going to access it without having a proper code. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this pirate tab here because I do actually have the Pioneer preview version of the toolbox open up here. And at first glance, everything does seem to be in place with just a mild bit of branding here and there for the Pioneer preview. But we can see that there are a couple things even that are visible just now that aren't yet visible on the production and release version of the toolbox. Like, for example, we can see right here that there's a new section for moving down to a section that you want to move down to. Like, for example, if I click on the charts and swap quick link here, that'll bring me down to the token chart section. If I click on the calculator link here, that brings me down to the token value calculator. And one other thing that's changed in this version of the toolbox, this will be version 2.2 once it gets released publicly, is actually a latency tester here for the RPC options, because this is something that's actually been asked for a time or two so that you know which option to pick when the RPC endpoint that you have as your default has either failed or is running too slowly to be of use. This will show you which one seems to be running the fastest at that point. Now, bear in mind, these are estimates. Your experience may be a bit different from what you see here, but yeah, this in general will give you some ideas to which endpoint that you may want to go with and which ones that you might want to stay away from. Like, for example, I'd probably stay away from DRPC right now since that has about 1.5 seconds worth of latency here and is shown in red. BXLR looks pretty good at 350 seconds latency. Then we have Block Razor, also looks pretty nice. Then we have Public Node. And keep in mind that all these are subject to change depending on network conditions. So this isn't what you should pick right now. This is just what's going on right this instance when I load this up. So heck, this may have even changed now that we've been talking about it, but yeah, that's definitely another change coming to version 2.2. And you also notice that we do have a couple more links here in the navigation bar. we won't be going over these in this call. That'll be for another call if I do decide to make a call or a video out of those. So we'll move on. And another change is that I've fleshed out a couple of the lists for the Vault approval scanner so that it now scans the approvals in your wallets for even more more nefarious approvals when the Go plus security endpoints part of the approval scanner fails for whatever reason. So a lot of great enhancements here in version 2.2. This hasn't launched publicly as of yet. This is available in the Pioneer Preview and the Pioneer Preview only right now. So that's what I'm planning on putting onto the market. And with that, we'll go ahead and move back over to the MyJoy markets, and we'll go ahead and create the offer. First, I'll go ahead and take a look at the chat in case there's anything here that needs my attention. And yep, it's folks putting in their wallet addresses. Folks, if you haven't put in your wallet addresses yet, this would be the time to do it. Because what the giveaway will actually be here is I will be taking all the wallet addresses that are put into the chat and anonymizing their inputs, so I won't be able to see everyone's name after I'm done here. And I'm going to put all those wallet addresses in a drum, which I'll spin virtually after the call. And after that, I'll be picking one wallet address, just one, and I'll match that wallet address with who they are. And I will send that person a access code for the Pioneer preview. So there's the giveaway here. Free access to the Pioneer preview for one person and one person only. So again, if you haven't put in your wallet address yet, please put in down in order to be entered into the drawing. This is for active participants on the live call only. Sorry for those that are watching this on YouTube. I've got nothing for you. All right, so are there any questions about any of that before we move on to actually creating the offer? We buried the lead long enough here. All righty. Apparently I am doing my job too well again. All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen again. And here we are back in the create a new digital offer section. And from here we can scroll down to basic info. The first two things you're going to want to put in are a category and a product type. There's several different options to select from here. We have coaching, ebooks, webinars, services, communities, downloads, and courses. I'm going to go ahead and select services. And then we have product type. We have ebook, course, webinar, coaching, service, SaaS or software as a service, membership, community, download, bundle, AI tool, and token gated. I'm going to go ahead and select service. Although you could make an argument that software as a service could also be appropriate for this particular offer, but I'm going to go ahead and select service still. And then you have to put in a title, a slug, a short description, and a long description. And we're going to go over all these one by one. And I actually have an entire write-up as to what I want to put in here already written up. So I'll go ahead and pull that up in Notepad. And I'll go ahead and do a split screen here so you all can see it. All right, for the title, I have Hunter's Toolbox Pioneer Preview. So I'll go ahead and copy that and put it into the title section. You don't have to write all this up beforehand, but you may want to just in case you have any sort of edits before you actually rate the thing. It's just easier to do that in a notepad window. That and it's also helpful to sort of have a template to go off of if you're out and about and can't get to the market right then and there, but you still want to jot something down. All right, moving on to the slug field. Now, what slug is it's a bit of a hash that shows up after your marketplace name that ultimately identifies this particular product on the marketplace. I'll show you what that looks like as we're done here. In this case, I have Hunter Toolbox Pioneer. So I'll go ahead and copy that and put it into the slug. All right, short description. I'll go ahead and copy the short description. And one thing to take note of first, folks, is that both the short description and the long description both do support Markdown. So if you know Markdown, then here's your time to shine. This is a great chance to get your product or service noticed. And if you don't know Markdown, then I would probably suggest learning at least a bit about Markdown because yeah, this will definitely be a way to help make your products and services descriptions stand out. And Markdown is a pretty easy language to learn, I'd say. So I'll go ahead and paste in the short description. Even if you don't know Markdown, there's some buttons here that also serve to help you replicate some features of Markdown. So you don't even really need to learn Markdown, but if you do know Markdown, then that's obviously a bit of a plus here. I'm not going to do any of that on the short description. I'm going to be doing that on the long description or full description as it's now called. Must have been a bit of a name change there after the past little while. All right, so over on the long description, we'll probably have to copy this section by section. So we'll go ahead and copy the search section. And in this case, I am going to go full screen so you guys can see what I'm doing with this a bit better. And now that we have the first section of my full description copied over, I can go ahead and do a bit of markdown work. Although in this case, I am going to use the assisted buttons up here just to give it a showcase of the editor. H1 is going to be the title for the full description. So we'll go ahead and click there. And you can see we can also see a preview of what that's going to look like on the actual page showing your offer. So far, so good there. So we'll go ahead and make some space and then we'll go back over to my notepad and we'll copy over the next section. And again, you don't have to do any of this, anything like this. I just like doing it because it helps, gives me a bit more of a clear view to plot out with what I'm wanting to say here and what I'm wanting to deal with this. And you absolutely can use AI to help you write descriptions if you can't think of anything yourself. I've done that at least once or twice with descriptions I've written so far. So there's really no shame in doing that. It arguably could give you a leg up over the other products and services on the market that are like yours that aren't using that if you're using AI properly there. So we'll go ahead and click on H2 for what this means in practice. And that gives us a subheading here in the preview. So far, so good. We'll go ahead and drop down so we can put the next section in. And I'll go ahead and copy what's meant to be a numbered list here. I'll delete the tag here. And we'll go ahead and add H2 here as well. And we'll make this list here that's meant to be a numbered list into an actual numbered list. Yep, we can see that that works here. And if we scroll down to the formatting preview, the numbers don't seem to be showing up here, but they will on the actual page. And if you just want a bolded list, then there is that option here as well. All right, we'll go back to my notepad and copy the next sections. And I think you all can get the idea by this point, so I'm just going to copy the whole rest of this section and move along silently. All right, and let's take a look at the preview to see if everything looks good here. Yeah, we have the heading, the subheading as well, two subheadings. And in the way I have it plotted out over in the notepad, the final line here is meant to be italicized. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll click on the I here for italic. And it shows up in italics over at the preview section. All right, so far so good. There's the basic information regarding the order all filled out. Well, not order, product. So technically you're done. You could actually create a product just after this. You just have to put in one more thing. But one thing you may want to do to help your product or service or any other type of offer stand out is to put some sort of media with it. And this allows you to use an image or video to go along with your offer. If we click on the choose button by image, right now we can paste in a URL for an image that we want to bind to this product, or we can do the same with a video, such as a YouTube video. There will be the option to upload something to use with anything you want to use in the marketplace here, but that hasn't been finished yet. According to the developer, it'll be another day or two before that's finished up. It is actually being worked on. So yeah, it's definitely on its way. All right. And Nicholas, you have your hand up.
Yes, I will add here that it will be ready by tomorrow. That is, it is just a setting for the server to have the place where to put the files and the videos. So that is prepared, the code behind it. And it works in this way that you go to the menu and you see My Menu as an option in the left menu. And there you can prepare the files and the videos in a sort of catalog. And then the catalog can be selected in the product main media box over there.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for chiming in there. Alrighty. So we'll go ahead and move on. This is an optional section, folks. You don't need this to be in place in order to create a listing, but I can definitely see that it will be highly recommended that you do so. All right, we've moved over to the pricing tab, and here we can actually select pricing for your listing, as well as to mark whether it's a subscription or not. So if your listing here is going to be for a subscription, you'll go ahead and tick this box here. And we'll go ahead and come back to these two text fields in just a minute. For the pricing model, we'll go ahead and click on the drop down. And this isn't a subscription, but for the sake of arguments, we're going to say that it is for the moment. And that brings up the pricing section. The first thing you'll see is the billing interval for the subscription. You can choose to bill daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Although I can definitely see monthly and yearly being the most popular options to pick. I could definitely see some situations where you might want to have your products or service billed weekly or daily. Price is going to be the price per the billing interval that you set here. For example, 10. And that's going to be in USDT ultimately, although everything on the MyJoy marketplace is denominated ultimately in Joy. It's just that you might see USD pricing, but it'll ultimately all come out in Joy when you actually go to purchase the product. So if you're thinking that you might want to use your US dollars or your euros or your pesos or the what have you here on the MyJoy marketplace, the only thing I have to say to that, and I said a time or two before here, we don't do that here. No, it's joy in, joy out. That's really all there is to it, really. And my last call was regarding how to get joy from Pancake Swap. So if you haven't watched that yet, definitely give that a watch. So we'll go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll continue on with this. All right, and then we have the billing interval count. This allows you to bill based off of the billing interval that you set up here. So we have, for example, month in the billing interval here, And the way we have set here is 1 in the billing interval count. That will mean that this parts or service gets billed every single month. We can adjust that to where it's billed every 2 months, 3 months, or what have you. And we can do the same if we bill by daily, weekly, or yearly as well. So like, for example, if you want to bill twice weekly, you could put in 2 in the billing interval count and week in the billing interval. Monthly, we could put to bill every 3 months. Yearly, we could set for every 1 year. We could set for every 2 or 3 years if you've got that sort of product or service. But you get the idea, folks. There's quite a bit of customization available here. So whatever you like to put up here in a form that you'd like. All right, so I'm going to go back up here and untick the create list parts as a sign up offer box. And I'm going to set the pricing model to 1 time again. All right, and here we have 2 text boxes here. The first is a required product note. Now, this isn't something that you're required to put in, but I can definitely see it being good practice if you put out a product or service that will then involve the user actually doing something. So, like, for example, in this case, with the codes that I'm going to be sending out to people, I'm definitely going to need them to reach out to me over Telegram after they've made their purchase. Because I might be able to see their wallet address in my tagged addresses once the Joy hits my wallet, but there are some addresses that I just don't have tagged as yet. So this will definitely be my bit of a check here in order to make sure that I can hopefully match the order with who made the order. And I do have something written up here for that as well. After purchase, please reach out to me on Telegram to receive your access code. Access codes are for individual use only. Access code sharing may result in your access code being disabled with no refund given. So I'll go ahead and copy that. I see your hand up, Nicholas. I'll let you chime in just a second here. All right, so I'll go ahead and paste that in here. And I'll put a bit of space here. Alrighty, and Nicholas, go ahead. Alrighty, moving on. The second box here is a subscription cancellation policy. This will be for you to tell the buyer what happens if they stop their subscription. In my case here, this isn't going to be a subscription, so there's nothing to tell the buyer regarding their subscription because, again, there isn't going to be a subscription for this particular part. And again, this won't be required to put up a subscription, but it's definitely going to be good practice to have some sort of cancellation policy here to help the buyer know what they're getting themselves into and what happens if they ever decide that the subscription isn't for them anymore. All right, so pricing, and now we have it is the one-time pricing model. we can see that, of course, there's a couple other options that you could pick here. There's the free option for completely free parts and services, subscription that we just went through a little while ago, request quote, and price plans. Now, this will allow you to actually create multiple different plans and price points on the same product listing. So, depending on the type of product or service you may offer, you may want to go with this one. But in this case, for this particular product, I'm just going to do the standard one time. And I'm going to price the Pioneer preview access code. It's 20 USDT worth of Joy. I've done that. Now, access pools ultimately goes beyond the scope of what we're going to be discussing here on this call, as does modules and SEO, because probably for at least 9 out of 10 cases, none of these three are really going to apply to your product or service that you're offering. So you can pretty much just leave them alone and ignore them. And with that, we're done. Now, all that's left to do is go to the publish section. And something you'll have to do when you have your products or service ready for listing on the marketplace is to come to the publish section and change its status. Because by default, each and every listing is in draft status, so not actually published on the marketplace itself, just left as a draft in your private workspace. So we'll go ahead and select publish in the drop down because, hey, I'm ready to get this placed on the marketplace. This is going to be listing number 4 that I create on here. So we'll go ahead and click on create digital offer. Okay, and well, you can definitely tell that this is live, folks. Pricing currency, let's find here. I might need to select Joy.
No. And so you have to go to the auto pricing model and then set a value greater than 0 in that particular field. So go to change to one time.
Yep, we're on one time, and
no,
I had
for the moment go to change to one time into the subscription.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then
Alrighty.
make the billing interval count set it to 1. I will change it in the programming. You have to set it to 1 minimum, and then change it back to 1 time.
Okay.
On the background, it is set to 1. So.
Alrighty.
Go back to 1 time, and then it will be good.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and click on create digital offer. And yep, this time it works. Again, folks, this is version 1.0 here, so there may be still some bugs to work out, but we absolutely will work them out. Alrighty, so yes, indeed. Now I have 4 products here, products and services published on the marketplace. So we'll go ahead and go to this most recent offer that I've just put up. And we can see, I see that Nicholas has added an indicated checkout showing here to show the actual amount of Joy that you'll pay for the product. That's definitely helpful. That's a fantastic quality of life improvement, I'd say. mean, so I'll probably have to say this description afterwards because Joy definitely took a bit of a tumble since I made this. And yep, everything looks in place here. So far so good here. And now I want to go back to that bit of the basic information that I said we were coming back to. That is the slug section. The slug is what shows up here after your actual storefront name. We can see that I have my storefront name just as Hunter Rodriguez, but that left here, along with anything that shows up after, serves as the actual identifier for the listing here. So you remember how I put in Hunter Toolbox Pioneer in the slug field from before? We can see it shows up here in the link. So I'll go ahead and copy that and put into the chat so you all can see it for yourself if you'd like. And with that, that goes over creating a listing on the marketplace. Yeah, I can definitely see that this is a video that's definitely going to be fairly popular on my channel because I can definitely see this being one that people are going to want to come back to over and over again until the idea of creating a listing on the marketplace comes second nature for them. All right, so are there any questions, comments, anything of the sorts? We're fortunate enough to have on the call with us tonight, the actual developer of the MyJoy marketplace. So anything that you want to ask regarding it, chances are he or I can probably answer.
I do have a question, Hunter. Um, so I do digital marketing as well. And I have 3 different courses that I have like on my own website. Is that would that fall under courses on here that I could put on the marketplace?
Yeah, it definitely would fall under courses, definitely.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that it would, follow the guidelines of what was allowed on the on the website. So, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, Fiona, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. So I have some ebooks that I'm already selling in other places that I want to put here. What's the mechanism for actually delivering the ebook? I don't see anywhere to upload it, or how does that work?
Right, so right now there's nowhere to actually
Yes.
upload it as of yet, so that would probably be through some more traditional delivery method that you've been using so far.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in the case of my codes that I'm going to be saying to people who purchase the Pioneer preview, I'm just going to be doing that over Telegram.
Yeah,
But,
no, that's what I thought you were going to
yeah.
say when you were talking. That's great. Thank you.
Pionita, that will be added in as soon as possible, that you can upload your ebooks.
Sure. Thank you. But I understand now how I need to do it. So that's
Yeah.
great. And thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all right. And Francis, you have your hand up?
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering when the password feature was going to be completed, or has it been completed?
It is completed by today, so it should work now.
So do you request a new password or the
You
process?
can go to forgot. You can go to forgot password on the login screen, and then you can change it. That should work now, and if it is not, you can PM me.
So if you didn't have one to begin with, how does it, what do you put in there initially?
If the password is not set already, then you have the password that is. Then the system takes this password My 2026 $. This is a this is an initial password if you have no password set. And then you can go to your account, and on the bottom of the account you can change your password. Okay.
Okay, I see you saying that this is an initial password.
Yeah, that is in the chat of the Zoom. MyJoy 2026 $, with the epsilon's capital.
Okay.
He put the password in the chat, Miss Francis.
Oh, I see.
And then when you log in, you can change it to your own personal password.
Oh, thank you. I have the chat open. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, and for anyone who joined us late, we are doing a giveaway of Pioneer Preview Access. So if you haven't put in your wallet address into the chat yet, please do so in order to be entered into the drawing.
Margie, there will be a Filipino
Yep.
translation that is already partly translated in Filipino catalog.
Yep,
And
they're
that will
actually
be approved.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, that actually is already there to an extent. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Oh, that's not it. All right, so I'll go back to my accounts, and you can do this from a screen, but what you can do is you can click on the empty avatar space here, and from here you can select your language. Right now we have Tagalog, French, and Dutch added. Although, as you can see, there's definitely plans to add several other languages as we go. So if we select Tagalog, I'm not sure if this is finished yet, but yep. Alrighty.
Yeah, the changes made in the last few days are not translated yet, but I will do tomorrow a new
Gotcha.
translation, and then it will all translate it.
Gotcha. So yep, there's definitely still work to do with it, but so far so good. This is a fantastic step in the right direction. I'll go ahead and switch back over to English because that's the main thing that I can read. I'm playing the stupid American card here, folks. All right, and actually, one other thing that I did want to note, and thank you for jogging my memory on that, Marjorie, is that you can also look to yeah, you can also select the theme that you want to use for the marketplace. You can use the dark theme, which is my favorite, or the light theme. And I use the dark theme because I'm so accustomed to using the dark theme in so many places across the internet. I use the light theme over on my toolbox because I made it so that it wasn't that harsh for dim rooms in the first place. But if I go ahead and select the light theme, I'm blind.
But Ace likes this.
Okay, okay, you all were supposed to laugh there. That, but anyway, yep, you can.
I laughed quietly.
Uh,
I did too, and my eyes got very big because that was bright.
Yeah, right. The time of the day. But Ace likes this one, and so it is available for both of you. And the system option is that is what is default on your system.
Yep, just however you have it set to your system. If you have dark mode set on your system normally, it'll go ahead and switch to dark mode. Or of course, if you have light mode set on your operating system, then you'll have it set to light mode and just follow whatever your operating system is using. But in this case, I'm going to switch over to dark mode. And yep, that didn't do anything, but there's some things in the world that I definitely don't trust, and Microsoft and Windows definitely make that list. So with that, I'll go ahead and stop my share. And I'll check the chat. Alrighty, so that covers everything that I want to talk about myself. Are there any other questions, comments, things of that nature?
Hunter, if you go back to the payout screen, then there's one thing that I want to mention. It is the way that the numbers are written, especially for the joy numbers.
Alrighty,
Because the joy numbers can have many zeros in it, and that is abbreviated
gotcha.
with a little of a smaller digit after the first zero after the dot. So if you go to your,
superscript. I
if you
see.
go to a subscription to a product of you, then you can see it.
Yep, so yeah, I did actually see that. So let's go ahead and go to the new products that I just put up.
Products.
And
There you see indicative checkout.
yep.
That is the 3 that is means that the 3 zeros are before the 17.
Yeah, we can see the subscripts there. It's definitely an excellent feature to have there. Great job, Nicholas.
Yeah. Well,
very excellent quality of life people's feature to help everyone know exactly what it is they're going to be purchasing. Jay, you have your hand up.
I do. So, in terms of selling the ebooks, products, whatever, at this point, it's aimed mainly at our members because they can only pay using Joy, right?
Well, Joy is available on the open market. So anyone who is interested in our markets, including those that are outside of the pool playing ecosystem, can absolutely take part.
All right, but that's just the requirement. I mean, if an outsider that wants to purchase the product or service, they're going to have to take that step to swap to Joy to be able to purchase. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the purpose that Ace gave to the marketplace. That is to make the Joy more use.
At least get more people used to it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And using the Joy token, so that it's also good for the price going up. If more people.
And as seller of the products and services, we will also be paid in Joy as well, right?
Yes, you get it in Joy paid to your wallet directly. It's just a transfer between you and just the buyer and the seller, the vendor. So you get it directly in your wallet, and in there you can swap it to USDT if you like.
Okay.
But you can price the products in USDTs, and in the checkout it is calculated into Joys, and the Joys will be then transferred, or you pay in Joy.
Yeah, and if you all were watching, you could see that I did that for the listing that I just put up. I did denominate my listing in USDT, but ultimately what will be paid is Joy. The system will calculate the amount of Joy that you'll pay when you make the transaction. And
that price is fixed for 10 minutes.
Yep. And you'll have that transaction suggestion come up in MetaMask when you go to actually pay for the products and you get to the pay screen. Alrighty. So are there any other questions, comments, things of that nature?
This was very helpful in getting our feet wet and all this for us non-techies. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, so if that's it, folks, if you haven't put your wallet address in, now's the time to. We're definitely going to be closing out within the next few minutes. If you don't have your wallet address put in by then, you'll miss out on the drawing. And with that, again, folks, we've been fortunate on this call to have the developer of the MyJoy marketplace with us on this call, Nicholas. And Nicholas is no stranger to my Crypto Cove calls, but it was definitely a treat to have him on this one since, of course, he's definitely the most knowledgeable about the system, considering as he built the darn thing. So yeah, it's great to have you on this call, Nicholas. Thank you very much for coming. And yeah, let's all give him a hand, folks, because without him, none of this would have been possible here. So
You,
thank you
Nick.
very much, Nicholas.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to speak a little bit louder.
Yeah,
I
thanks, Nick.
mean,
Thank you.
to be fair, Nicholas, if you haven't already understood the thing about Americans by now, Americans are trash when it comes to accents. And
The next
I've
time I will
made.
put the next time
Go
I will
ahead.
put on my headset, the microphone is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
And yeah, I made that mistake myself more times than I'd like to count. So yeah, that's probably why the New Zealand branch of the community liked me so much. Yeah. Alrighty, so if that's it, I'll go ahead and save the chat so I have all the addresses. And I'll be doing the drawing sometime within the next probably 12 to 24 hours or so. And then I'll reach out to the winner and provide them their access code.
Thank you
Alrighty.
so much, Hunter.
Absolutely. All right, last call for any questions, comments, anything else? Any last words of encouragement for Nicholas or anything else? Alrighty, I'll go ahead and stop the recording.